I'm Israel, and when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yohana's putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. But before then, Thursday, it's going down at the Durham Armory, our annual all-black party. Last year was also the Hebrew Academy graduation dinner. This year, Commander General Yohana got something special for y'all. It is going down. What's happening? A full-blown Hebrew concert featuring Shar, UPK Natazal, Kwarak Ice. This is not something you want to miss. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the Convention Center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, send the curses to them enemies.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my houses. Yes, you said, sir. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I'm back gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words. ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cocktail. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mass shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga.
I read where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, another cop just stretched the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening, is in fact the If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jake. So Tower War, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I came to do damage, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a
Oh, we're live. All right, shalom, shalom. This is the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. Today on Le'e Hebrew Sabik, you know, we're going to be going into the Dark Ages, a time that many people are unaware of, when black people ruled Europe. Yes, the Europe of today, man. Germany, Scotland, France, England. And I'm going to be doing it today with Officer of 5,000 Dumgabar. You know what I mean? We're going to go over the facts, the history, things that people can't deny about black people ruling in what history calls the Dark Ages. So that's what we're going to get into. Alawat Panya. Barak. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Thah.
Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Thah.
Shalom,
Hey,
sir.
what's going on, Akim?
We good, sir. We good, man. Just out here in the UK, in the cold, man. Really cold, but we'll survive.
God, don't sweat, brother. Don't sweat. So you just started, or Salakia?
A concert we just did, sir. I was just doing a introduction. So.
Okay. And let me say to the audience, the water for these two brothers appearing on this show. Because these two brothers, of course, the school in England or UK, they had a lot of black history. And I don't know if you brothers know, in America, we approaching black history. But a lot of things that you know, the information that you have, we don't have. You know what I mean? And I would like for you to also include later on in the show, brunette, the history behind the brunette thing. You know what I mean? A lot of it you do not have. All right. So I want to welcome you, brothers, and the water for coming in. Let a Hebrew speak. Commander General Yohana, you know, much respect and love to him for having this show. Let a Hebrew speak, and the water for you two brothers coming in. And shalom Yahweh to the brothers online. And shalom Shema to Just like it. Shalom, Shema, Thigh, Ban, Shimmy, shout to the sisters. Go ahead, brother.
Khan, sir. Khan, other one, Khan. So in the Dark Ages, it's a time where black people don't know that in Germany, France, England, Scotland, black people ruled, meaning black people sat on thrones, black people dictated law, black men led armies, and it's a time of history that many people like to hide. One reason is because of racism, you know what I mean? And they can't let you know that on that same land they love so much that another race of people ruled them on their own land. So we're gonna get into some books, you know what I mean? So for today, these are some of the books I'll be using. Just getting the camera.
Right.
So this is one called the Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles by Dr. John L. Johnson. That's one book you can get. This book was written by a oppressor himself. It's called Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 by David McRitchie. This is a Irish oppressor right here. So again, it's nothing we wrote. You know what I mean? This is what they're saying.
Right.
Now, this is another book. This is called The Origin of the Anglo-Saxon Race, written by Thomas William Shaw. Again, another oppressor that done his history on the Anglo-Saxons. And this is another book called When Scotland Was a Jewish. Grab the author. I think there's quite a few on this one. Right. Elizabeth Caldwell. Sorry. Hersham and Donald N. Yates. So you know what I mean? So that's what I've got. And of course, you know, with Officer of 5,000 Dongabar, he's got some as well.
Okay. Come on, Dongabar.
So we got the Secret Memoirs of John Mackey, who actually wrote about King Charles and the Jacobites and stuff. We also have the American Dictionary of the English Language, which is from the years 1800s. So you can find out all the words which they've hidden dictionaries today, which was originally words which meant black and so forth. We also have family names from the Irish, Anglo-Saxons, Anglo-Norman, and Scotch. So what you'll find is a lot of the surnames we have today is names which we originally had in Scotland and so forth. We also have a book called The Jacobite Gleanings, which lets you know how the Jacobites were shipped abroad and how they were sent directly from Scotland to plantations.
Wow. Y'all got some books. You got some weapons there.
That's right.
We also have the Scottish clans. So these Scottish clans, these books lets you know that what you see Scottish people wearing today, which they call some hat that they wear today, originally black people wore it and it was a beret. So we originated the beret in Scotland. So these books let you know those things. We also have the Annals of the Caledonians, Picts and Scots.
God.
We also have a description of the western islands of Scotland. So this book here lets you know the people of Scotland, what they look like, what their complexion was. So it lets you know each city in Scotland, what they look like and so forth.
Okay.
That's just a few of the books we have, sir.
Okay. And all the books, what I would like to do is when I post this on Facebook, I would like to list the books so brothers can just have it on Let a Hebrew Speak. They can open it up and then they can go and purchase them and see if they can buy them for themselves so that brothers over here will have them. Because like a lot of black people here in America, they're like ignorant to the fact that there were a lot of blacks ruling Europe. Like they don't have, like the common brothers and sisters, they would probably more fall into the Hebrew Israelite, you know what I mean, and join if they knew all the history that we had. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you bring it out at camp, some of these brothers love bringing a lot of that out at camp. You know what I mean? Because people still don't even understand that Christ was a black man. You know what I mean? Some black people will tell you he was olive skin. So it was heavy that you bringing this out. So I would like to try to list some of those books on Facebook on this same show. All right.
Kind of one concept.
You know, as many as you could drop on there, and then however, you know, we see fit. All right. So they'll have the information. I'm about sharing the information with all the brothers. You know what I mean? And that's what UPK has always done. All right.
Kind of one concept.
All right. So go ahead and start it off with show us some of the archaeology that you pulled up. And I want to say another thing. It goes in line with the scriptures of us being scattered abroad. I've also heard that a lot of those friars and abbots that were sent by the Roman Catholic Church around the 700 BC, AD, were black also. That was helping guide, you know what I mean, guide these kings, or were like lesser men, you know, like Adrian. I don't know if you heard of Adrian around 600 AD.
Can't say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I come to find out because I've been trying to follow the whole line of from the 12 apostles to the church fathers to us spreading out when Paul even brought out, Paul brought out that he was writing letters to Spain, which is in the book of Romans. But go ahead and start the lecture, brother.
Cancer. So I'm gonna start off in the book Ancient and Modern Britons. So I'll start off in the introductory page. I'll screen share.
Okay.
All right, should be up. All right. Then, so so okay, 1 second. It's not showing the page.
Okay.
I know what to do.
Okay. No sweat. You know what I mean? So. Dumb Gabar, if you want to bring something up while he get that up, you can. You know what I mean? Oh.
I believe I have it. All right. So this is from the book Ancient and Modern Britons. So this is the introductory page, and we're gonna scroll down to the highlighted part. But it's gonna let you know that historians know that before the oppressor dominated England, that there was another race that did. So it reads, not only does Mr. Hawksley argue from the appearance of certain existing Britons that they represent, in a degree, a British race of a Australoid type, but there are visible and tangible proofs of the previous existence in our islands, such of a people. So what is Mr. Hawksley trying to say here? That in the past, on this British island, there was another race of people, that there was a melanated race of people. So when it says Australoid, it's saying that it was a people that was dark like the Aborigines.
Right.
Well, it gets better. These proofs are craniological. We know says the writer of a small pamphlet on this object. So
Right.
it has the mark there, then it tells you where you can go, and it has the early history of Scotland written by J.C. Goodfellow in 1881. So meaning even in 1881, they knew that the original inhabitants or the people in the past did not look like how the
Right.
Scottish man looks now.
Right.
Another
God.
one.
God.
So I'll zoom in again. So on the next page, it finishes. So inhabitants of Britain, let us say certain tribes of ancient Britons, and more especially those of the northern parts. So what's the northern parts? That is Scotland. So they're saying that the Scots of the past didn't
Right.
look like how they look now.
God.
Were a craniologically of a type approaching to the a Negro or the Australian race. So meaning they know, but they don't let everyone else know that in times past there was a race of people here, and they were either of the, or they look like of the Aborigine race or of the Negro race. So
Right.
they do know this. So what we say in the UPK is not far-fetched. It's not
Right.
something that no one knows. There are historians that back it up.
Right.
So
God. Wow.
so that's one there. I'll get another one.
Okay.
So now this is going into
And
again.
let me ask you now. With that proof, is it basically saying that the Japhetic people were there, or the other tribes, like the Israelites, were there? Or they saying that it's proof that the Japhetic people were originally Britons?
Okay, no, so what they're saying is on the second page in brackets, he had certain tribes of Britons. So that would be us. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So,
Got you. Okay. Most High in Christ. You go ahead and proceed. I got you.
a concept. So in this page, scroll. So it goes the Iberians are Sedios, Awavi, and
Right.
a curly head. The word Swavi is rather elastic, for although literally swats, yet it is taken, I fancy, to mean something not quite so dark as the color of a Negro. So first, what a lot of historians like to do, anywhere in the Dark Ages where someone's called dark, black, they say it doesn't literally mean that. But as we're going to read on, even the author of this book has to admit that in history it does. Anytime it talks about the black more or the dark this, that
Right.
is literally talking about how they looked. In its usual acceptance. So perhaps this distinction does not exist. But at any rate, if the small dark Highlander and the black Celt to the west of Shannon
Right.
be assumed to be the descendants of the Iberians, it may fairly be argued that with so much intermixture with fairer races during the last 2,000 years, the stock must now be lighter skinned than then. So he is admitting that the dark did mean dark, because why now is he saying that, well, over so many years, they must be of a lighter skin?
Right.
So they're letting you know that in history, when it says that the dark Highlander, the black South, this is literally referring to a black race, lighter skin than then. And it's representatives of the first entry must have actually been as black as Negroes. So he knows that anytime in history about the black more, the black this, the black that it is actually referring to how they look. It's not a metaphor. It's not talking about how wicked they was, which is what our oppressor like to say. You know, when you bring it up, they will say to you, yeah, well, the black didn't mean he was a black man. It meant he was a bad person. But the author of the book is not saying that. He's letting you know that that black literally is referring to how they looked.
Right.
So this is another.
What page number is that on?
Oh, Slack, let me go back. That was page 45, sir.
Okay.
45, sir.
Got you. All right. All right, the water.
So this is the other part. So it's breaking down more about how black means black, and is going to go into what other people said. So a goyle, again, which is a genitive singular and nominative plural of goal, a foreigner, means also a hanging lip. So meaning in the ancient Gaelic language, whenever they describe someone as a goyle, it meant someone of a hanging lip. Now, of course, what nation of people are known to have big lips? We are.
Right.
So even in the Gaelic language, you know what I mean? Who they called a foreigner, really, that word really referred for someone who had a hanging lip.
Right.
A plus mouth and an angry or sullen look. So meaning someone who looked angry. And what did they say about blacks and Hispanics even till today? You're aggressive, you look angry, intimidating.
Big lips.
So we were the same way back then.
Right.
And that word was used to describe us. A beloved cheek, while goleach, derived from it, signifies ulky, blubber lips or cheeks, having a swollen or distorted face. So they were very racist in their
God.
He said, it's very rude, but that's how they described us of that time.
Exactly. That's common. Like, back in the days, I hate to divert, but those are racist marks. And I remember a white guy said to me when I was a kid, he called me a spear chucker. I ain't know what the hell that shit stuck. I ain't know what the hell that was. You know what I mean? And somebody had to explain to me what it was. And here it is, the same thing. The big lips, you know what I mean? And they say that we wild and we always angry. But here in America, they say we crazy. Go ahead, brother.
Akanta. So that this, a wearer of a queue, is also known as the one with the ringlets or the locks. So meaning what? They had braids.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So the same racist remarks they have now, they've had it even back then. And locks, a ion of a blubber-lipped foreigner. So even in the Gaelic language, many words that people don't look at, it shows people of a black race by how they look, and also even the hair, like the locks.
Right.
So
the
this
locks
is page
definitely.
136.
Okay.
So I'm gonna scroll down to the highlighted part. So now, a tradition of a black man living in Scotland with a memory of a man was noticed in a treating of the Moors, who were all in probability of the same race, subsidiously as the other black Europeans under whatever name. A counterpart to the black Morrow of a Galloway is to be seen in a traditional black knight. So even the saying of the Black Knight is referring to a black man, and it's going to explain who is said.
And can I interrupt you? And it says to the black, what it says, black Europeans.
Kind of one can.
Okay, go ahead. You good?
I'm
gonna follow along with you. I'm gonna comment. You can stay on the page. I'm following you. That's Go ahead.
A concept who is said to have lived near Ashton under Lyme. So meaning there was a man called Black. He was called the Black Knight, and he lived in an area called Ashton under Lyme.
Okay.
Holding the people in a vassalage. I'll go to the other page to get the rest.
All right.
All right. Zoom in.
He more than likely was a fighting brother. He a knight. Go ahead.
Answer. And using them with great severity. So meaning this a black knight, the people that lived in Ashton under Lyme, he reigned over them, and it wasn't no joke. So you know what I mean? It was a man that people was afraid of. In the notes,
God.
In one of the notes to Ivanhoe, Sir Walter Scott adduces an instance which indicates the existence in our islands of a considerable black population within historical and comparatively recent times. So even this man, whose name is Ivanhoe, he knows that at one point in time, England and Scotland had a large black population,
right?
And he wrote it in his notes to this man, Sir Walter Scott.
Right.
Now the critics.
So let me ask you. So Ivanhoe was that Black Knight, right?
No, sir. So in these notes, there's a man who he gets all the records on Scotland, England. So his Ivanhoe. So in this part here, in his notes, he's writing later on.
Okay.
Now he wrote to Sir Walter that, guess what? In the past, England had a black population, which shows us that black people lived here, and he's letting him know that it seems like in the past this is what we had.
Right. Got you. Okay. Got you.
Come on. So the critics have been objecting the complexion of the slaves of Brian de Boers Gultberg as being totally of a costume and a piety. This objection he meets by citing an instance in a romance, which shows that not only were there black people in England during the Dark Ages, so they are aware of this,
Right.
dark as in a double sense, so meaning they know what the term Dark Age means. It's a double sense, meaning they know dark people reigned, and also they like to say the Dark Ages because it was a time of ignorance.
Right.
So it's in a double sense.
God, good point.
But also that they constituted or at least formed a recognized part of class, of the class of wandering minstrels and mountebanks. So meaning while we was here, some of us entertained like how we entertain now. You know what I mean? We do all the athletics. So meaning in the Dark Ages, every black person wasn't a king. Some was minstrels, but that just means entertainment. So some, played in the athletics back then, and some were mountebanks, meaning some were rich, some was of a royal estate. So not every black person in the Dark Ages was a king, is what he's saying.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And that's like William Shakespeare. Some of his books is written about, black men. You know what I mean? Othello, you know what I mean? And there was another one, I forgot the name of it. But go ahead, brother.
A concept. So the case in point is this. John of Rampayne, an excellent juggler and a minstrel, undertook to effect the escape of Adolphe de Bracy by presenting himself in this guise at the court of the king, where he was confined. So what you're reading about now is a white man called John Rampayne, and he ran away from his master of that time into England. And let's see what he did. For this purpose, he stained his hair and his whole body in entirely as black as jet, so that nothing was white but his teeth, and succeeded in imposing himself on the king as a Ethiopian minstrel. He effected by Sir Dragatem the escape of a prisoner. This is the good part. Negroes, therefore, must have been known in England in the Dark Ages. So for him to paint his face black to get accepted into England, it was very obvious that black people was here.
Right.
He did that to blend in so that he could escape.
Right.
So it's very evident in history that black people was here, and a lot of us must have been here for him to know that, well, listen, if I'm in England and I want to escape, this is what I have to do.
Right.
So, that's
God, that's crazy right there. A white man painted himself to be black or Ethiopian. So that definitely is the proof that black people were all up in England. Go ahead, brother.
A concept. So of the same book. This is chapter 9.
And what's the name, Salaki? What's the name of that book?
Oh, Salaki, this book is called Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1, sir.
Volume 1? Okay. All right.
Come on. So this is chapter 9. It states, it has been seen that the topography of our country and many other word witnesses in our speech all testify to the presence of a black race not yet blended with the whites, and other evidence of history, of the legend and a custom have been adduced, but of the traditional memory of the Black Moor still visibly impressed upon the minds of our peasantry. So meaning in England at one point, with the poor whites, they was always afraid of this man called the Black Amor. So the poor white people like the Black Amor, and it was something they all knew about. Very little has been said.
Right.
The Black Moor, who from his forest den ravaged the neighboring country, and the Black Knight of Lancashire, who held the people in vassalage and used them with great severity, were two distinct specimens, but they can be matched with many others. So what he's saying is, even in white, even among the poor whites, they always spoke about these black men who they was afraid of. So it's not just the Black Knight and the other one I mentioned. Among the poor whites, they knew of many black people that was always just dominating them, using them. So this is another one. The popular tales.
We were in rulership. We had power over them. Go ahead.
So the popular tales of the West Highlands are full of dark-skinned people.
Okay.
Whose deeds are often recited by half unconscious of the fact that they too are anything but white. So meaning now among white people, they are unconscious that these people are anything but white. So a white man now, or an oppressor, he thinks those people, they are of his race.
Right.
But this author saying that is not the case. These men was anything but white, meaning they was dark skinned, they was black people. In the tale of the shifty lad, there is a Gadij dub. So that's the ancient Gaelic term of Ak Alawain, who is perhaps identical with the black robber, and again in the Gaelic Gadich dub of the Bara for Ishaman, the two attorney were Iman for Iga in the tale of the soldiers, and the widow's son is variously described as a slender, dark lad, a black lad, a black rough skin lad. So meaning, I mean, all these people that they mention of is saying, really, these are actually black men
Right.
and women. So it's not just a folklore that they have, that these men actually existed.
Exactly.
And the poor whites was afraid of all of them. So meaning in the dark ages, we gave them hell. We gave our oppressors in the dark ages hell, to where, among the poor whites, all they could do was say, listen, man, be afraid of the black more, be afraid of this person, that person. That's how dominant we was.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Because here it is nowadays, they're afraid of us because America have turned us into criminals. Coming up in New York, if me and you was walking down the street, right, and it was like one white person or two white person, they would literally in the 80s, they would cross the street because they thought that we was going to do something. Or white people would be driving and they stop at a stoplight and they would if me and you was walking across the street, they would lock the doors. So it's the same thing. Only difference is that we didn't have no power over here in America in the 80s. Back then, those blacks had power and the white folks were scared of them. Go ahead, brother.
A concept. While Ian, a soldier's son, encounters a black fisherman who lives in a island cave, the song of the yellow mullet teach mentions the three sons of the dusky black king Dwayne, and also introduces a CR dub, in brackets means dusky black. It means dusky black, a prince of Lamhan, and the Agruak, who figures to lay of the great, a fool of the brown complexion. So again, like all of these men, they're known for being black, but it reads on. So the king of Isle Sabandi, who is a prominent figure in the story of Conal Gulban, is a slender black man. In one version and in another, lean-boned, savage, and worthy. So the black warrior Mardub, that is Black Moray, has already been spoken of. So meaning he's breaking down the etymology of the words and going, listen, those things clearly are portraying a black. It's not about how evil he is. It's not about how wicked he was. This is clearly letting you know that these people were black men. Because in the Gaelic language, the word dub or dub, it means black. So it's pointing to how they looked.
Gotcha.
Come
on with it, brother.
Yes, like I said, if I could, like you were saying, the words mean black. I got the dictionary for you here, so it lets you know that all these words come from swarf. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know. Swarf means to make tarry, brown. Swarf, swarfily, duskily. It says tarry. It says swarfiness. Also means tarriness. Then it says a dusky complexion, blackness, darkness, being of dark hue or dusky complexion. So that's the meaning of it.
Okay, the water, Most High Christ, and that was a black king, the king of. All right.
A concept,
and Dumgabar, you can always chime in. All right, go ahead.
A concept. I've got a list of black names well.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, brother. Run that down.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. And let me ask you something. Up in England, where y'all at the UK, do they have like I'm sure they do, but y'all do have like in museums, do they bring a lot of that out? Like for instance, the King James, right? Is that well known in the UK? Meaning this, can I go somewhere and find his picture in the UK as being black?
Cancer, you cancer. But what happens is, because people can't believe that he's black so much, you can look at it and that oppressor will go, no, he's not black. Like it is visible, it is there. But then, like, because it's been in their mind for so long that, listen, no black man, they just can't see it.
I got you. God. All right. Go ahead, Parasha. Cap, go ahead.
A concert.
Yeah. I might ask you a few questions, all right? So bear with me,
A concert. Just the screen share.
All right. Yeah, because I always wondered that. And y'all don't have the archaeology on William Shakespeare, anything that, you know what I mean? Him being black.
Oh, it was about 8 years ago. Myself and Officer Dungabar, we went to where he lived, and yeah, they have a crest of him on the wall, and yeah, like if you look at it, he's a black man, sir. It's on the wall, and again, it's like the same thing. It's there, but an oppressor from always being taught it's not us. He just can't see it. He just doesn't.
Yeah, they don't want to allow that because, you know, here in America, William Shakespeare is highly respected as a writer. Highly respected. I mean, they make, in certain schools, you have to read one of his books. I think he made Macbeth. You know what I mean? What's the one he did with Julius Caesar? Those are certain books that you have to read in America. So that would have been, you know, wonderful if he was able to bring out, you know, had that photo. Go ahead, Rob. You good?
The concept.
So like I say, if I could real quick, with the Shakespeare thing now, what you'll find is when we went to Shakespeare County, so we went there about 6 years ago. We done a whole tape on it. So we went there, and then with Shakespeare, there was like 2 pictures drawn of him. So one, his wife drew of him, and that's the black one. And then the ones which came after him, people who never met him, those are the white ones there. So they will tell you this during the tour.
Wow. Okay. Most High Christ. Man, if y'all would have took some pictures of both of those pictures.
Can't say. Yeah, I think we should have them somewhere. I believe the tape should still be on YouTube.
Okay.
So we should have them somewhere. If I find this, I'll just email it over to you.
Hey, the water. Yeah, please.
Captain Prussia, I think you're on mute.
Okay, all right, we're back. So this is from the book, the Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. So in the back of this book, it tells you all the Gaelic words.
Let me see that book again. Show the book. If you don't mind, show the book so they can see it, because we couldn't see you big like you are now. Okay. The water.
Come on, Conser. So basically, at the back of this book, it goes into all of the all of the ancient Gaelic terms that would signify a black person. So this is the vocabulary, and it's got a Gaelic in the brackets. So it's got Alban, a white-looking a Negro, and albino. So it's got Alpine, a black, a Negro or more. It's got black, very dark, a more. It's got Blackbird, a name given to James Francis Aduet because of his black skin. He was the son of King James the Second and the Seventh. So meaning, even the James family, even that term Blackbird shows that with the Dewitt family, which became the James family, they was black as well.
And let me ask you. And he was the one to King James, which makes King James black, which makes it proof in the back of that you're showing us now. But he was the grandson or son.
I was like, King James II. I believe his name got changed to King Charles. Yes, that is his son. No, the second is his grandson. So that shows that they was black because they're descendants of him. And in the Gaelic language, Blackbird was a term given to them, sir.
Got you. Okay. God.
Then you got Celtic, an ancient black race of Europe, a Moorish people. Sinead, handsome, born of fire, anglicized Kenneth. The name was popularized by the African black Moors. Of course, you know, this writer in his ignorance believes all black people are the same.
Right.
But you know what I mean, is not right. Then you got a Cullen, a woolly whelp. You know what I mean? Or a little dog. So that's an offensive term for a black person. You got dark, and you have a ton of names in the Gaelic language that are not talking about how bad someone was, not how wicked someone was, but literally about how black they are.
Right.
Which is what a lot of people don't like to get into.
Right.
Another one.
God.
And you got some more. So you got from the top left, Doug, black, a Niger or a Negro, a short form of Douglas. So again, in the Dark Ages, there was a royal family called the Douglases.
Right.
And that lets you know that Douglas family at that time, they was black.
Right. Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So in other words, the word Douglas, it automatically was referring to black people.
Canada one concert.
Like I would say, yo, he's Douglas or something like that, right?
Concert, Cons one con. And if I may, I think Donga Bar's gonna bring it out about last names, about what they really mean.
Oh, okay. Most High in Christ.
So you got in the Gaelic language the word dove, a black derived from the word dub, meaning doe, and or a Negro, more, Doyle, black, a stranger, derived from the word Dubgol, a more. And I mean, I could break all these down, but all throughout the Gaelic language, there's so many words clearly identifying a black man or woman.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But for example, when it comes to King James, before it was the James family, it was the Sir Edward family. So on the bottom right, Sir Edward, and in brackets, Black, Inigo, Niger, derived from the a Norse word Swart, meaning black. So even the Deward family that King James came from, the name is signifying the complexion of them.
Right. Con. Okay.
So like that just breaks down pretty much a lot about them. That's the book.
Right.
So that's from that book, and it's at the back. It's literally a dictionary of all the words that signify black men of that time. All right. I was like, Officer Dongabar, anything you want to bring out?
I got the Douglases here. So let me jump now to the point. We say he was the right-hand man of King Robert the Bruce at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, and after it, he was called the Black Douglas from his complexion, a nickname which became attached to his line. So that's how they got those names, the Douglases, so forth. Dub, because Dub also means black. So what you'll find is there's so the capital of Ireland used to be called Acliat, but there's so much black people there they changed the name to Dublin because Dub means black. So
there was so much people there.
So that's where Dublin comes from. So what you find is
hold up, I got you. Dublin is where all the niggas were.
Come on, sir.
You ran that down. As soon as you said Dublin, I know Dublin. Okay, go ahead, brother.
So then you had I believe there was a black king in Ireland as well. I believe his name was Dub Mac. Was it Dub Mac?
That's right, yeah.
I believe his name was Dub Mac, which means black king. Then you also had Kenneth the Liger.
Hold on. You said Dub Mac?
Come on, sir.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
So lucky Captain Pusher, are you able to pull up Dub Mac on the screen share and see if it comes up?
Yeah, I'll give it.
I believe he was a king in the year 900 and whatnot. So then they will let you know that a lot of the Irish was black, and then after a while, the when people say the Irish went into slavery, what they're forgetting is a lot of the Irish they're talking about is black people, because they was the ones who was sent into slavery. So what you'll find is before it was pronounced Ireland, it was called Ireland, and then they shipped them to the Caribbean, and that's why in the Caribbean, Jamaicans say Irie, letting you know they're from Ireland. So that's why they say Irie. So people just think Irie is just a greeting, but that's them letting you know they're from Ireland.
Got you.
I've got it for you. If you want.
It's not. Let me see if it comes up.
So
okay, go ahead.
So this is Dub Mac.
Right.
So it's got so it's the modern Gaelic Dub Mac Ohoil a Chalem. So it's breaking down different ways of breaking it down. But it goes Accord, then the Vehement and the Black. Born 922 and died 1967. Was the king of Alba. So yeah.
God.
So that will let you know that his name was Dub Mac because he was black. So now when you look at the origin of the names here for black, this is the the family names from the Irish and Anglo-Saxons and the Scots. So we'll say here, Diva originally Dubber from Dub, black, man, a dark complexion man. So that's what Dub meant, a dark complexion man. So him being King Dub, it meant he was a dark-skinned king.
Right.
So also, when you look up the word Devlin, it says Dub, black. So it lets you know the same thing. So what you'll see today is you have Irish people with surnames that don't match them, like the word Duffy means black. So you see certain surnames like Duffy. So Duffy also meant dub and meant black. So in Ireland today, they're running around with these surnames and they're not the original people. So originally these surnames came from us because of our complexion.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. With that being said about the Irish having a lot of blacks that were slaves, like is it a little bit more information that you have, whereas if you could put up a link after the show on it so brothers can use that, because we hear that all the time, especially on the East Coast and up north. We were in slavery, or black people say the Irish was in slavery, and then it needs to be cut with good information. So that's something that we can share with the brothers and the sisters. You know what I mean? So, all right, the water.
Can't say. All right, I'll get a link at this. So we'll let you know that a ton of them got shipped back. So what you'll find is after Charles I got killed, you had Oliver Cromwell, who was like Lord Protector for 11 years. So what he was doing in the 11 years, he was deporting black people left, right, and center. And then after that, once Charles II got back in power, after that, they started to do it again. So if I could get, hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Hey, give me a time frame roughly around so the people will know. 16.
All right, then, so Charles I would have been like about the late 1600s.
Right.
And then he got beheaded by Oliver Cromwell. So there was no monarch for like 11 years. And then after that, you had the Jacobites was at war with England because they was trying to get a Scottish king back on the throne.
Right.
So then after that, Charles II, he reigned again. And then after him, because I believe one of the James, it must have been James VII, he was Catholic and England only wanted Protestant kings.
Right.
So because he was Catholic, they said we're not going to have a Catholic monarch. So then what you'll find is they banished them from England and then they went back to Scotland. And then you had England sent spies to spy. Actually, I can get that book as well, actually. So England sent spies to spy on the Jacobites. And then he gave descriptions of what he was seeing. So we're going to read one of the...
And let me ask you a question. The Jacobites. Explain that to the people. Who were they?
Can't say. All right, then the Jacobites. Now, not all of them was Israelites because Jacobites just means the followers of King James VII. So King James VII, that's all it means. So they was following King James VII, and his followers wanted to get him back on the throne. But what you'll find is 90% of them was brothers because once they got sent abroad, it gives descriptions of them. Hold on, let me see if we can get it here. So this here is the Jacobite gleanings. So now this book, it says an exact list and description of 150 rebel prisoners shipped at Liverpool on board the veteran John Ricky Master for the Leeward Islands, which were taken near Antigua. So now this is a list that gives you their names. It gives you what their height. It gives you their complexion. So now here it says Robert Adam. He was 18 years old. He was a laborer, and he was brown with a smooth face. So then there's the next one. It says William Bell. He was 46 years old. He was from the county of Berwick. He was 5'4". He was black with curly hair and he was strong. There's a next one here called Andrew Edwards. He was a servant. It says black and he was strong. It says Alex Goodbrand, brown. John Grant, black. Josh Hincliffe, brown. John Johnson, he was black. John Johnson, he was brown also. So this here right now, I don't know if you can see it, but this is all these names here on that side.
Right.
That's the list of brothers that was shipped abroad because they was Jacobites, so they was considered rebels.
And they were shipped to America?
Can't say. So what is there was different transportations.
As slaves or just shipped out?
They were shipped there as slaves. Also, there's a next part in the book, so if I could.
Okay.
This part says, so this lets you know that it was about race as well, because it says there was an Edinburgh writer, George Hume, age 30, marked as a black man whose color would no doubt suit the West Indies. So
Yeah.
they didn't want black people in England, so we started to ship them out.
Okay. Right. Most High Christ.
Go on, continue.
I had to have you explain the Jacobites because I didn't want everybody to get confused.
Go on, continue.
Hey, Parasha, you understand that, right? Y'all understand that,
God.
God. All right. Y'all can continue, man. Y'all bringing it out, you know. Bring out everything you got. You know what I mean? Some things you may even just want to elaborate, like the brunette. You don't have to read it. You can bring it out. Just drop that history on us. You know what I mean?
All right. So
because I gave enough information where we can find what you basically talking about in those books. Like I didn't know Dub or Dublin. That was something that you just went on and said, and I'm like, damn, I know about Dublin, in England, and I didn't know that the history behind it. They were black people. The word Dub means black. So listen, when I get out there on them streets, that's how I'm just bring it out. That's right. And listen, Parasha, you have fire when y'all be, you know what I mean? When I see you out there speaking, I be like, yo, this cat can. And good job out there, Captain and Dum Gabar. Because I know Islam is crazy. Like over there is real Islamic threats. y'all fighting the holy war over there. Go ahead, brothers. Go ahead. Slag in the sidebar.
So with the word brunette, it comes from the word brun and brown and so forth. So it originally was brun and burnette and brunette. So today a brunette is, they say it is a white woman with brown hair, I believe. Blonde hair,
right.
Whereas brunette was a family of black people, which comes from the word brun or the family Barnett or Burnett. And that was other families. So black people of a dark complexion was called brunettes. So even in hold on, let me see if I can find it in one of these dictionaries.
Okay.
And then from there, we can also show you about a man called John Amaki. He was a man sent to watch, like the family of King James, and he writes literally how they look, and we're getting to that as well. So,
God, see that's what I'm talking about, Parasha. That evidence, that's in a book.
That's in a book, sir. Can't do one concert.
I need the name of that book. Salakia, forgive me.
I've got it. I'm just gonna get it, sir. After show.
Okay.
I got it. If you want to see, it's this one. This one here.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
So here it says, Charles Lennox is son to King Charles II by the Duchess of Portsmouth. He was carried by his mother into France in the reign of King James, and left France in the reign of King William when he declared.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, who's that? That's Charles.
And can't say his son.
So he had to escape and go into France, or he just went.
Can't say he had to escape because at that time they was trying to kill them, sir.
Okay.
So they already beheaded his father, King Charles I.
Okay.
So he was beheaded, so he had to escape.
Right. Okay. Most High Christ.
So it says France in the reign of King William when he declared himself for the religion and constitution of his country. Says he's a gentleman, good-natured to a fault, very well bred, and have many valuable things in him. Is an enemy to Boffinals, very credulous, well-shaped, black complexion, much like King Charles, not 30 years old.
Right. Good. All right.
The next page also, it says, so now this is letting you know about King Charles II, son. So it says now, his son to King Charles II by Miss Gwyn was made by King William one of the bedchambers and captain of the band. of prisoners, and by that king to France to congratulate the marriage of the Duke of Burgundy. He's a gentleman every way, natural, well-bred, doeth not love buffiness, is well affected to the confliction of his country. He is of a black complexion, not so tall as the Duke of Northumberland, yet very like King Charles. So it lets you know that they was all black, sir.
Right. Good.
And as well, I mean, I haven't really looked into John Mackie a lot, but he was actually paid to watch the family and to write about them. So he will be doing like intel on the family. So he's watching them, writing it down so that he could take it back to the Roman Catholic Church of the time. So that was his job. So
right. And his name was John Mackie?
Kind of one concept.
Okay. So he's just basically spying on for the Roman. He was okay. I got you. Most High Christ. Come on with it.
Now, with Officer Dungabar, he sent me this. So this is what his family has of. I believe it's a king, a Charles the First or the Second. It's actually a wooden a carving that they have of him.
Okay.
Let's find it. Slack, can get this.
Okay.
All right, I got it. I got it. Right, it should be up in a second. I got it. Most High Christ. All right. So, zoom in. So, like another name for King Charles II was the term Black Boy. So,
right.
So we're gonna scroll down.
And that's a wooden carving.
That is now. It reads the lined face and dark stern. It shows wrinkled eyes, the high, harsh nose, and determined molded chin. I believe it's the page before, but it lets you know that that's what his family wanted, and a term for him was the Black Boy, as well. So,
wow.
And so, like I say, if I could, just yesterday there was they've changed the name of a road. It was called Black Boy Street, which was named after King Charles, but because most people in the UK, they don't really know history, so they think it's racism. So what you'll find is over here, a lot of the pubs is called the Black Boy Pub. So a lot of the times you'll see like a little crest of a black boy outside the pub. And then black people think it's racism, but that's just proving that we ruled England. Because their crest is still here till today.
Good. Wow. And that's Charles II's son.
I believe that one there was King Charles, Charles I, sir. No, that's Charles II, sir. King Charles
II. Okay, Charles II. They called him Black Boy.
Come, sir.
And they named the street the street after him. And the black people there in England, they thought it was racist, so they just recently got rid of it.
Come, sir. They got rid of it, I believe, just yesterday.
Wow. Y'all need to make some videos.
Come, sir.
I know, okay.
Y'all need to hit those people, the brothers and sisters up and explain to them it wasn't racist, you know what I mean? But go ahead.
So we saw the carving. So this is the image they have of him. But of course, we saw the one before, and that was literally black, like dark black. You know what I mean? So it reads the Black Boy. I'll zoom in.
Okay.
The Black Boy. So that was a name for him. Like, you know what I mean? Whom so many had secretly toasted and mentioned in bated breath and it dreamed of, but that was another name for him, which a lot of historians don't like to mention. If he was a oppressor, why is he called the Black Boy out of all names that he could have?
Right.
Because he was a dark-skinned man.
Right.
It's lucky if I could. Also, there was another brother who had the same name. His name was called the Black Prince. I believe it's King Edward II or III. His name was the Black Prince. But now, if you look on the internet, they will tell you that he was called the Black Prince because he liked to wear black body armor. So they've twisted it and lied. So they tell you his name's the Black Prince because of body armor. But there's hold on, I think actually I can't find it, but there's books where it lets you know that from he was a child they called him the Black Prince. That's before he ever put on any armor.
I'll back you in 1 second.
So yeah, let me see if I can also let me see which one this one is. Hold on, so like I said, let me just see if I can find it.
Wow.
So also, there's been a ton of Black Kings. There's also a brother called Richard II. He lived in around the year 938, I believe. And they say that he has the first his out of any monarch, his picture is the first one they've ever painted. And then hold on, let me see if I can find this picture and screen share it. So
okay. And who is this again?
This was Richard II.
Richard II.
Can't say. So while it's with him, they say his portrait is the earliest portrait drawn of any monarch. So we're just going to take a look at his picture and then hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Captain Roger, is my screen shared or?
Yes, it is. Yeah, can see it.
So yep. That's the brother right there. So you can see the Negro hair and so forth.
God.
And this is out of every monarch. This is the earliest painting of any of them, and his depiction is black.
God.
But if you look at later images, let me see if I can go to. So if you look at later images, they've changed this picture to. This is it showing on the screen? I can't tell.
No, it's not nice.
Hold on, let me stop sharing that one, then I'll share the next one. So his image went from that to one of these on the one of these ones here.
Yeah.
So can't say so. Yeah.
Wow. White man's a devil, man.
That's right.
White man's definitely a devil. He been hiding all this from us. Yeah, man. Any more things y'all have? Or?
I have, sir. It's just a few names from the times of the Anglo-Saxons that came here as well.
Okay.
Screen share. All right. Is that visible on the screen? I got it.
All right.
All right. So to even show that, you know, these things ain't made up, this is a website called the House of Names. So meaning any name you're looking for, they'll tell you about it. Now, this is a name called Blackmore. So it's the Blackmore. So it's the history, family crest, and coats of arms. And look, that's the Blackmore coats of arms right there.
Right.
So already, and it tells you the origins available in England. So it goes, the ancestors of the name Blackmore date back to the Anglo-Saxon tribes of Britain. So meaning, you mean, along with Anglo-Saxons, you mean we came as well with them. The name is derived from when the Blackmore family lived in the area of Blackmore, and in the UK today, on the southeast of England, there is a place called Blackmore, even till this day.
Okay.
And it is from them. Early members live near one of two places named Blackmore, a parish in the diocese of Winchester, and the parish in diocese of St. Albans. So I mean, so St. Albans, you know, for those that haven't been to the UK, that is like the seaside of England. It's literally like by the sea. So when this family got there, you know what I mean, in St. Albans, there's a region called Blakemore, and it's because of this family right here. So it goes, so the place name is derived from the Old English Blake, meaning black, a moor, meaning marsh, would have been used to name a settlement near Dark Marsh. Another source could have meant dweller by Dark Mere, from the Old English Blake, mere from Old English Blake, or the Middle English moor, a moor. So there you go. So it lets you know that even by the name, these people were black. But it goes, the early origins of the Blakemore family. So the surname Blakemore was first found in the Domesday Book of 1086, where Blakemere was recorded in Shropshire. Years later, William de Blakemore was recorded in Substabilly Rolls of Worcestershire. So meaning this was a family that over time, you know, they basically was all over England. So from St. Albans, they went to Shropshire, then to Worcestershire. So you mean, so throughout the Dark Ages, you will find families that some of them was here ages ago, and then what happened was over time, you know what I mean, they started to branch all over England, and this family is one of them. Right. Then this is another one. So this is the House of Cup. So it's going to break down what it means. So it's similar to many Austrian families. The distinguished surname Cup is a proud sign of a rich and ancient ancestry. The earliest forms, hereditary surnames in Austria, were the patronymic surnames, which were derived from the father's given names of metronymic surnames. So it's basically breaking down that this name was for a rich people. I'm going to read this part here. The patronyms derived from a variety of names that were of many different origins. The surname Cup, is derived from the Hebrew personal name Jacob. meaning supplanter.
Right.
So even in Austria, there was a royal family, and they let you know that it wasn't just their name. They got that name Jacob because it was their personal name, and it's of a Hebrew origin. So throughout the Dark Ages, we was there, and you know what I mean, we ruled. And even this name here, it was of people that was rich. Not anyone could just have this name.
Right.
Rich's point. So you know what I mean? History shows we was all throughout the Dark Ages, and you know.
God. Let me ask you something. And their last name was Kopp.
Kopp, kind of one Kopp.
Like Jacob.
That's right, yeah. But because of the Austrian dialect, it's a bit different, but that's where they got it from.
Most High Christ. I got that. God. You go and continue. Put that on us. You know? Put that on us.
You got anything, Dongabaro? I'll carry on.
This is just so this just gives you this is called the description of the Western Islands of Scotland. So there was different in Scotland, brothers went to different parts. So here, this will just let you know what they look like. So here it says the inhabitants of this isle are well proportioned, generally brown, and some of a black complexion. They enjoy a good state of health and have a genius for all callings. So this book right here lets you know that in Scotland there was different islands in Scotland, and the brothers went there. This is another island called Giga. So it says the inhabitants are all Protestants and speak the Irish tongue generally. So these are brothers that came from Ireland, then went to Scotland.
Okay.
So it says, but few that speak English. They are grave and reserved in their conversation. They are accustomed not to bury on Friday. They are fair or brown in complexion. So this is letting you know a little bit about them.
Right.
Apparently, when you go deeper, it says they didn't bury on those days because of the Sabbath and stuff. So
really? Oh, okay. So they were still following some of the laws.
Some of it say can't say. And then there's a next. This is the island of Jura. So it says the natives here are very well proportioned, being generally black of complexion. So this lets you know that all throughout them Scottish islands, it was black people there, sir.
Right. Wow. Okay. Con. And during that time, that was what, the 1400s, 900s?
Can't say around that time. Can't say.
Wow. Okay. Con. Damn. Any more history?
A concept. I mean, if you like, we can get into how they lost the power they had. Like,
right. That's what. Yeah. Hey, listen. That's why I'm listening to you. I wanted to see if we was going to talk about how the Stewart family or the Tudor family lost it, and the Windsor family took over. The Windsor family are the ones that took over, right? Well, break that down. I'm gonna hear from you, Captain. Break it down for me.
Come on, Console. What happened was, like what Officer Domgabar said, once Oliver Cromwell, you know, he began to reign, he came against the black rulers of England and Scotland at that time. But then now he brought a family. They're called Windsor now, but at one point they was called the Hanover family. And even before that, they had a German name. What's it called? Sir Agatha Saxburg. So with the Windsor family now, one point in time, they even had a German last name. So basically, they went from the Hanover family. Right. And then because of World War I, and people knew of their German roots, then they changed their name to the Windsor family, because at that time in England, everyone was kind of upset with them because they're Germans and your royal family, they're German. So it was King George. He said, you know what? Let's change our name to the Windsors. And then that's why we got the Windsor family now. But yeah, like,
wow. Okay. God, that's the stuff that I want to hear, brother. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's heavy.
A common console. from this book, The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles, this book does go into what happened and what brought down the demise of the black rulers of that time.
Right. So that was you said King George, right? Who was the king that was he the one who changed it to Windsor?
Conor Cancer.
And it was Hanover first. Because listen, I drops this to people that think they, want a battle, but okay. And because of the World War I, because of Germany, the people didn't want to. They hated the Germans.
Khan.
And then his family line, he said, "Well, let's just change it to Windsor."
Khan, because they didn't want like the English to be hostile against them. So it's like, well, we got a German last name. It doesn't really help. Right. So that's when they decided to change it to Windsor.
Right, good.
So like I say, if I could. So also well, their surname was Gopher, and what you had, the Germans was flying Gopher bombers over to the UK and dropping bombs, so they had to change the name. Their surname was the same as the flight bombers said. Right.
Okay, that's what that's what y'all here for. To teach us a little more history on that. God. And let me ask you a question: do y'all celebrate? Like, do y'all have a Black History Month? Anything like that?
Come to.
And what do they normally the world celebrate over there? The brothers in the world, Africa history or like? Go ahead.
Over here, like for Black History, they just give you like little things like, say if you go to the supermarket, you just have like a little, certain things will just be in black colors, things like that. So yeah.
Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, like, all right, like they push it over here, right? Like here, we're damn near raised up every year as children in school, right? And you get Martin Luther King. You get Rosa Parks, but you get the part about Rosa Parks that she went against discrimination or I would say the Jim Crow law by sitting on the bus, not standing. Like this is like from first grade all the way up to high school. You get just that. Is it the same with England, with Black history? Like what are y'all like? Who's a famous Black person in England of your time of like who do they push?
Over here, they still give us Martin Luther King over here a bit. So we're trying to get that too.
Yeah. Y'all get the Christianized. Okay. God. Go ahead. Dumb Gabar. I think he's going to say something.
And also with King James and them losing the kingdom, what happened is because James VII, he was meant to be king, but they didn't give it to him. So nowadays, when you look up him, they call him James the Pretender, meaning he's pretending to be a king. So now they've changed his name to James the Pretender. And then what they should have done is they said they're going to look for the closest heir outside the Jacobite family. So they usually go for a paternal line. But what they've done is they went for a maternal line. And then what you'll find is King James' granddaughter, Sophia, she married a German prince. And then they went through that line, and that's how the kingdom switched from us having it to them. So they went through a maternal line and gave it to George I, who was the son of the granddaughter of King James.
Right, I got you.
So that's how they switched it. So even their rules was it has to be for a paternal line, but they said we're banning all Jacobites from ever sitting on the throne again, and went to the closest heir, which was a maternal line, which makes Deuteronomy chapter 7:3 so heavy, sir. Because things like this happen when you don't follow it.
God. I remember, and this goes to add with what you was just saying, because I had a clip that someone shared maybe 3-4 years ago, and I've been trying to find it, where the queen that just recently died, she gave a testimony as she was talking, and then she said, I have Negro ancestry. So that might be the ancestry that she claiming from Sophia.
Come on, say.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? That's just something that you made that makes that it tied into something she said. She had mentioned, you know. Anything else? Anything else? Bring it out.
Kind of one concert, a bit more.
Yeah.
Also, so like you said, if I could, even recently, so we went over to the royal family now. There's a picture of the Queen when she was a little girl doing the Nazi salute. Also, her husband was cousins with Nazis. His sister married his sisters married 4 German princes, and they named their son after Adolf Hitler. And they kept the royal family kept a relationship with the Germans in secret.
Because they Germans. God. Because they Germans, right. And I understand it. They still got that German racist Nazi pride within themselves. So definitely. So you tied in a whole where the switch came in, and now even today they still salute Germany. You know what I mean? So, and they know that. You know what I mean? They know all this. Anything else, brothers?
Concept can screen share if you can.
Hey, I want y'all to relax, and if y'all got stuff to bring out, just bring it out. The people are here trying to listen. You know what I mean? Just bring it out.
Kind of one concept.
You know what I mean? Y'all my guest on my show. You know what I mean?
Come on, console. This is from the same book, the Negro rulers of Scotland and the British Isles. So zoom in a little bit. So the color world had strategically controlled the highest echelons and liaisons of European society. Their dark complexion automatically granted them Europe's highest privileges, whereas being white was just the opposite, causing much suffering, humiliation, and deprivation.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I want to see, want to bring out. That is something different. You know what I mean? Like the thing was to be black, and it brought you a status of high society. That was heavy.
Kind of one concept. So it reads, the British Oliver Cromwell spent most of his life trying to break the stranglehold which blacks firmly held over whites. So, like what me and Officer Dungabar went into, you know, we both mentioned the same man, Oliver Cromwell. So it's him where he started to break the stronghold that we had in the Dark Ages.
He's the reincarnation of Hammond in the Book of Esther. I'm joking, but I'm just making a point. Go
ahead. He helped Ireland to become free of the harshness of black oppression. So he helped Ireland as well, and later persuaded the British Parliament to behead the Black English King Charles I, like what Officer Dungabar he said so. Cromwell's intention was to obliterate the dark-skinned noble families of Europe and to annihilate the Negro Sedua dynasty. So with this man, his job, or what he wanted to do, was to break the stronghold that we had in the Dark Ages.
Let me tell you, that's definitely a good TikTok segment.
Kind of one, All right, so this page, Professor Lips emphasized that the colored world had imprisoned the white world. So again, this is someone else, you know, who's saying it. So it's not me. A man called Professor Lips. So he did the research, and he knew that at one point in time, the colored world had imprisoned the white world in its own land long before the reverse. This a truthfulness is also endorsed by the Brazilian sociologist Gilberto Freire. Again, someone else you can look up, and he's saying the same thing about the Dark Ages.
Right.
The French philosopher Edmond Séguin and others. So meaning there's other historians on the Dark Ages, and they all agree that the Dark Ages is when black men ruled over whites in their own land. Simple as that. So, so what happened now? So it reads, following the French Revolution, the black elites turned their intention to breed white-looking children in order to preserve their power structure among the uprising white oppressed, and also to fade away the cruel apartheid system. So like what Dungabar said, in Scotland, you know, many blacks were being shipped to America and certain islands. So for those that remained in England, because they didn't want to lose the power that they had, they started to mix with whites and started to, you know, kind of blend in, because now the reign they had, it was coming to an end.
That's heavy.
So
right. I just want to bring one point out. The reason why it's so heavy is because black people in America, they feel that they can get rid of racism if this is their thought for some black people, that if we intermarry and have children, that racism will go away. Believe it or not, that's what some black people, that's why black people here say, oh man, we mix with everything. I'm mixed with white. I'm mixed, you know what I mean? They try to make it whereas racism will eventually evaporate, which is, you know, a lie. But go ahead, brother.
A concept. So this process gradually faded out the original darkness of their skin to a lighter tone. The present day white-faced rulers of Europe were originally the earlier black-faced Africans of course, there was an African, you know, that's what he believes,
right,
of the continent, who purposely whitened themselves following the French Revolution. This was necessary to prevent another uprising by the oppressed white mainstream. The African Moorish Negroes continue to rule Europe by wearing a pale face in order to tamper down the white fear of a once Negro dominance of Europe. So meaning even those that were around, they wore makeup to look white.
Right.
So basically, like the reign that we had, and
like Negroes bleaching their skin. But go ahead.
A concept. So I mean, they wanted to rule, but they done anything to look white, whether it was makeup,
right,
a bleaching. You know what I mean? It was just anything to keep the white population happy. Is what the author is breaking down. I've got his part here. So it reads, and many of today's blacks and whites don't have the slightest a clue to such world occurrences, since this form of information is forbid to be told in Western media and history books.
Yep.
So, you know, that's the reason why so many of us don't know, is because it's purposely hid from us.
Purposely.
The way that the world doesn't want us to know. It's purposely done so that, you know, no one does not know.
God.
So this is a quote from a German philosopher. So it reads, the German philosopher Arthur Segolpanher states, all a truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed, and that's what happens to us. We talk about the Dark Ages. It is ridiculed. Come on, this is England. You're telling me black people ruled in England?
That is exactly how they react. You know, exactly. It's crazy because, like, the more science, the dudes that's into the more science temple, they know a little bit about this, but you know what they claim? Those were Moors, not understanding that the word Moor means black. So that that was on point right there. That could be a TikTok clip for UK Parashah, where white people were being oppressed by black people, and it's coming from a white writer. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes it so good. You know? So that was good. Any more? I'm gonna let you. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Last one.
A concept. So first it is ridiculed. So that's what happens. Second, it is violently opposed. So meaning you have the truth. First thing, people mock it. Second thing, people violently oppose it. People make it seem like you're crazy, you're mad, want to fight.
God. Yeah. Listen, and it happens to us all the time at camp. They oppose it. Then when you bring them more information on and it makes sense, they get mad and they get violent. You know what I mean? So that's you know, you on point with that. You know what I mean? Do y'all bring that out at camp?
We have, sir. We brought out the coats of arms and a concert. We have, sir, and you know, with the European whites, they look at it like as if we are mentally ill, sir.
They gotta do that. They gotta do that. You know what I mean? Shame face. You know what I mean? God. You know, over here, they're a little bit more acceptable if you could bring something like if when you bring out a book with you. With them, it's kind of respected, or they'll just listen. You know what I mean?
Kind of one kind.
And then if you ask them a question, half the time they'll agree. You know what I mean? Then you get your drunken white boys. You know what I mean? They ain't not listening to anything. Then you get your black people. Some black people, regardless of what we say, you know what I mean? And you may not even mention the word hate. And they just gonna say, y'all a bunch of haters. Y'all preaching hate. You know. So here it is. I'm gonna close out. Wonderful having you on the show. I'm gonna do this again in the near future. I'll contact you. You know what I mean? But the wonderful having both of you brothers on the show, man. Y'all brought out a lot of history. Y'all brought out a lot of books. You know what I mean? Those books is real good to get. And hopefully that, you know, brothers here will start bringing out more books. You know, because some brothers do bring out a lot of stuff in books. I remember years ago, Tazarian used to always bring out books at camp. You know what I mean? But the water, Captain Parasha for the show, and Officer Dumgabar. The water. Hey, I'm getting ready to salute everybody out. April 1st, the Passover. Try to book your hotels. If you haven't booked your hotels, it's a wonderful time. I'm gonna get to see these two brothers at the Passover. So for y'all, the audience, these two brothers is coming from UK, and they'll be attending the Passover, and a few other brothers and sisters with them. It's one of the biggest feast days of the year. You know what I mean? Where brothers from, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Trinidad, California, Canada, Florida, we all get together, you know what I mean, and celebrate the Lord's Passover when the Lord, killed our oppressor. You know what I mean? So it's one of the best holidays that I really enjoy, just being around everybody and talking to brothers. But it's all about the Most High and what he did. I don't never lose focus on what the Lord did. You know what I mean? So until next time, to the brothers and sisters, I'm going to say shalom. This is Let a Hebrew Speak. I brought two strong, heavy hitters from out of UK. You know what I mean? Hell of a job, hell of a lecture on that, and giving it up to the people. I'm going to say Tawada. Shalom. Y'all hit him with a one. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all good. Just to the brothers and sisters. Tawada.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yohana's putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. But before then, Thursday, it's going down at the Durham Armory, our annual all-black party. Last year was also the Hebrew Academy graduation dinner. This year, Commander General Yohana got something special for y'all. It is going down. What's happening? A full-blown Hebrew concert featuring Shar, UPK Natazal, Kwarak Ice. This is not something you want to miss. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence, because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.